Today we got a video from Stephanie Lange called "The Girls Are Selling Themselves." I haven't seen a whole bunch from her in a while, and I thought she used to do makeup content. But anyway, let's get into it.
Something is happening to the girls. Something strange. Let's play a little spot the difference. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? These are all girls. All females. Nothing has changed in our biology as far as I'm aware, and yet females as a whole are mutating. Not that long ago, this was the average woman. When she presented herself to the outside world, she ensured that she was fully clothed, modestly dressed, flattering makeup. Self-respect was the currency of the time. And this was considered overtly, and yet she's still fully clothed. Rather demure by our current day standards, not a hint of butt cheek or fanny flap in sight. And
No, Marilyn was doing a little bit too much right there. She knew what she was doing, but I get where you're going. I get where you're going. She still had clothes on, so you had to imagine it.
now, this is what we're expected to think is normal for our girls. Boobs out, bums out, wearing less clothes than some people's dogs, who, by the way, are already wearing fur coats. The dogs are more modest than us. And I'm genuinely sat here asking the question, how did we go from this to this in just a few short decades? Where did it all go so wrong or so right, depending on your perspective?
Where are these young ladies learning how to do these dances? They really trying to shake what their mama gave them. You don't think that you're doing? I mean, I feel like they're in their room and they just, it'd be one thing if you're doing like a little boom, like hey Macarena or whatever, but these women are really getting into it, like they've created their own uh choreography, their own dance. That's crazy.
Where once girls were encouraged to be pious and self-respecting, and even showing your ankles was risque, we're now being encouraged to degrade ourselves, do anything and everything in order to appeal to the male gaze. And nothing is too far and nothing is off limits.
I'm trying to be the first person to be with 1,000 guys in 24 hours.
What was once seen as humiliating and a lack of self-respect is now seen as normal. From pop stars twerking on stage and prancing around in loincloths and unitards like it's their collective uniform, to the hordes of women joining OnlyFans in the hope of making it big. The girls are selling themselves, and we need to ask why. How have we, as powerful women with brains and beauty and the ability to literally create brand new human beings from scratch without even technically knowing how to do it, been demoted to little more than props for men? I have spent an obscenely long time researching and working on this video, and I created it knowing full well that the YouTube overlords will not like it, will likely wipe it from your algorithm like it never existed, so please.
And they did for a little bit. I think she said they demonetized this video after about 10 hours, and then I guess she had to go through some reviews or whatever and whatnot, and they got it back. But to answer the question about how do we go from being powerful and all of that stuff to being a prop, well, if one woman doesn't have respect for herself, then you can almost bet that there are going to be women out here that are sure to follow. They're going to see, even though that woman is giving herself away and she's doing questionable things, which they know that they don't want to do, then they're going to say, oh, but I can justify it because I want that bag. I want that car. I want that house. Right. So they give up their excuse me. Their morality is really what I wanted to say, and their values for, this type of stuff.
Please, in the limited time that this video is live, watch it, like it, before the YouTube gods take it down. Does this give anyone else a strange feeling? Like something really weird is happening to the female population, and it's not a good weird. Like we're heading down this really slippery slope, and if we don't hit the pause button pretty damn soon, we're gonna hit the bottom with a crash. Now, I'm not conservative. One look at my Instagram will tell you that much. I love feeling I wear whatever I want, I do whatever I want. I am all for female empowerment, but this is not feeling like female empowerment to me. This feels like female enslavement, where once it was the women who were living a life of poverty who were forced to sell themselves, dress in rags that barely preserved their modesty, or do things that they would never willingly choose to do in order to stay alive, as work was usually an act of desperation. Sell yourself or die. Now, it's not just the girls who are struggling financially who are being forced to sell their bodies. It's starting at the top.
But I also think, her showing that she has a husband, I think, or she has a family, she has a kid. So I think her saying all of this is essentially, in my opinion, oh, well, I do a little bit, but I don't go that far. Well, if you have a husband, you really shouldn't be doing that. To be honest, you know, female empowerment and women empowerment. What about family empowerment? What about husband empowerment? What about that? What about, what's going on in your own household? But I do see what she's saying. It's getting, I mean, if I got a little cheek showing, you know, and that's risque, what are these ladies doing?
Women who earn more in one day than most of their fellow females will see in a lifetime. Successful women who, by all accounts, shouldn't ever feel the necessity to sell themselves in exchange for money are in actual fact doing just that. The commodification of girls' bodies isn't starting at the bottom, it's starting at the top. Look at the musical icons of our current generation. Girls like Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande all started out their careers squeaky clean. Some were Disney stars, some were focusing on their acting and dancing, writing sweet songs about the boy next door or having fun with their friends. In theory, this kind of music should be a hit with the girls, right? I mean, we all have friends, we've all been in love, we can relate. Throw in some catchy tunes and some duplicable dance moves. It's a recipe for success.
Yes, I mean no!
Sure, they all started like this and then realized they were getting precisely nowhere with that approach. So what happens? These girls fell further and further into the seedy depths of the music industry and became what you see now. Manufactured, highly pop stars that are more like the musicians. If I seem bothered, it's because I am. I am not nonchalant. I am not unbothered. I went to music college. I wanted to be in that industry. But my favorite genre is rock, which is mostly dominated by fully clothed males who are praised for their lyrical genius and riveting guitar riffs.
No, but even with rock, come on now. You got groupies, you got women that act the way that they act, right? I've seen, people like Joan Jett. They got some clothes on, but sometimes they don't. They can get pretty wild. So you know.
Every musician should be, right? And yet, when it comes to the female musicians, whose, let's be real, demographic is largely other women, are expected to dress in as little clothing as is legally possible, whilst gyrating on stage, miming into a microphone because they can't possibly sing and dance like this at the same time, and humping blow-up fingers. For who? Not me. Is this what other girls want to see? These performances, if you can even call them that, are for the male gaze. It's not.
They crawling around on stage. What do we do? The things that we do for entertainment. You would be in your home looking stupid. Be like, man, I ain't doing that in my home like that. Even by myself, I think I look crazy. But these women, man, apparently they don't feel crazy at all. Apparently you're gonna look stupid, but go ahead and do it. People gonna like it, I guess.
New, but it is getting worse. Britney Spears in the 90s, she had all us little girls dressing and dancing in ways that no little girl should be dressing or dancing. Before her, we had Madonna, who by all accounts was a trailblazer in the act of self-reinvention, but always with a common theme: sex. Because as we all know, sells. But as Madonna discovered, it only sells for so long. And then instead of being young and hot, you become sad and desperate. And you find yourself having to rely on things like actual talent and performance skills. And if you've been coasting along on the wave of sells, you're going to be.
And that's what I'm saying. Look, what is this? What is this, man? Crawling all over the floor? You're 80 years old, Doc. You're 80 years old. You're crawling all over the floor. At some point, and this is why men don't take a lot of these modern women seriously. At some point in time, you got to say, hey, I ain't 20 years old. But these modern women think they're 20 throughout their entire life. They rack up bodies, rack up crime, to be honest with you, because some of these women they get in trouble. They got warrants out, to be honest. They in trouble with the law. You're still in your 70s, 60s and 70s doing this crap, bro. Come on.
Of cells, you're going to be screwed. Now we have the likes of Chloe Bailey, Madison Beer, Tate McRae, Olivia Rodrigo, Addison Rae. When I was doing the research for this video, I got so creeped out. I was like, this is like seeing the same girl in slightly different versions over and over and over again. They're like clones. And honestly, it's kind of embarrassing at this point. And I'm not saying this because I'm cranky or judging.
I see why they demonetized this video, to be honest. God, dog.
The girls themselves. I know it probably sounds like that, but that's not what this is. These girls are just products of.
This is softcore adult entertainment, I would say. to be honest.
Their environment, they likely don't get much of a say in the matter. It's their bosses, the big boys at the top, who I take umbrage with. Look at Sabrina Carpenter's recent album cover. She's on her knees being grabbed by the hair by a man. It's a little bit degrading. And I know the idea is to shock people and therefore generate more album sales and more attention and more fame and money. But it's just not really that shocking anymore. It's getting a bit old. And what's even stranger to me is that girls like Hailey Bieber and Kylie Jenner, billionaires in their own rights, successful enough that they never need to work another single day for the rest of their lives, are selling themselves. Half nude, suggestive poses for what? Not their female fans. I mean, if you have a flick through the comments under these pictures, you'll see pretty quickly that the girls are confused. They're bored. What exactly are you selling, Hailey? Oh wow, she's naked again. This is so sad. Get dressed, woman. Why is she naked all the time? Good question. Perhaps it's for validation? Perhaps it's to sell more Rhode products? Although why other females would want to purchase more Rhode products just because Hailey Bieber was posing half nude? It's perplexing. Is it for the male gaze?
It's beauty. It's not necessarily for the male gaze in the fact that it's beauty. They see somebody who is seductive, who's got, did you say Hailey Bieber? I think she said Hailey Bieber. Who's got the Justin Bieber? I want the Justin. I mean, they look at that and they're like, whoa, I want Justin Bieber. Or I want a guy like Justin Bieber. Okay, let me go buy this. You know, if a woman has to look like this to get a Justin Bieber, then I guess I'll do it. If she has to dance like this to, you know, get a high profile man or a man with a lot of money, then I guess I'll do it. Modern women are trend followers. They jump on a trend to their detriment. They don't care. If their girlfriends get married, they want to get married. If their girlfriends have kids, all of a sudden, you know what? I think I want kids. Husband be begging for years to have kids. And when their other friends start having kids, you know what? I think I want a family. I think it's time. And then they'll go into a whole essay or dissertation about why they've always wanted kids and it just wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time because nobody else in your tribe was having them. That's why it wasn't the right time to you. But you're following. A lot of these, it goes back to the point that Stephanie said earlier on in the video. It seems like I'm seeing the same thing, just differently. You are seeing the same thing. You're seeing women perform the same thing, but in different states, areas, countries. They're doing the same thing. This is why men are like, I don't want a woman like that. This is cookie cutter. And they'd be right.
Gays? I mean, Hailey Bieber is literally married. Kylie Jenner's in a long-term relationship, which begs the question, why is every single woman in the public eye expected to sell herself, commodify herself and her body as the product?
I just find it mind-blowing.
But let's pull it back for a second. Using to sell is nothing new. A quick flick back through the archives of humankind will show you this, but the annoying thing is, this whole sells message is always at the expense of the woman. Now, I am a bit of a prude.
But even if you're looking at this right here, they're trying to get people to smoke.
Do this, but
right? They're trying to get people to smoke. So if maybe not it's female, male, whatever it is, you're trying to get a man, right? You want to be you, and these two things are side by side. So you're saying for the girl that plays the violin, you want a man? You want that hot guy? Once again, it's the same playbook. You want that hot guy? Flip over here. Like you got your pearls on and whatever and whatnot. Women will even look at that and say, okay, let me buy these pearls. If I want to be living in a life of luxury with this handsome hunk of a man, let me go ahead and buy these pearls or have this look, this hairstyle, from the makeup to, you know, whatever's on her wrist, the pearls on her wrist, to her nail color. And then they'll look over here and they'll say, well, you know, let me go ahead and get some cigarettes because, you know, that's what the girls are doing. And it looks alluring. It looks, they'll do that stuff.
I'm a bit of a prude, but I'm a contradictory prude in that I am all for women harnessing this. I love that for you. Love that for them. Love that for me. But it's female empowerment that I support. What I cannot bring myself to support is female subordination. The sheer amount of women literally selling themselves on platforms such as OnlyFans is startling. There are, according to Google, up to 3.5 million women on OnlyFans right now, and as you can probably imagine, women make up the majority of the platform's content creators. Now, I have already done a deep dive video on OnlyFans that was properly demonetized and wiped off the face of YouTube. Love that for me. It's hard to find it, but if you scroll through the videos on my channel, you might get lucky. But what really angers me as a fellow female, as your sister, is that OnlyFans is marketed towards women as being empowering, using silly men's desires as a way to make money. Sure, we're all posting half-nude bikini pictures on Instagram anyway, we may as well make money from it, right? It's a no-brainer. No.
Empowerment is their whole selling point, you know? It's, well, take the power back because men are gonna do anyways, so you might as well get paid for it. It's just a lie, it's a marketing tactic, and there's nothing safe and empowering about it.
A quick Google and just a small degree of common sense and critical thinking will show you that the average female content creator on OnlyFans makes less than $150 per month. You'd make more.
Now we talking about them making about $150 or $151 a month. A lot of women will say that that's worth it. For me just to, if we really think about it, for me just to lay down or in the bed and take some risque photos of my feet, I mean, these bills got to get paid, right? And you got to think that some of these women are not going full in. They're not doing the, fully unclothed pictures. They're doing, okay, I'll sell my feet, or I'll, do something suggestive, right? And they start out doing that over time. But then they might get into for a special buyer, for somebody that's, private on the side that might be off platform. Okay, I'll do these pictures for you offline, right? And then they'll do that and they'll get paid a higher amount. I don't know, say maybe 500-600, right? And then that person will just kind of come to them and then they'll say, hey, if that worked once, maybe it'll work again. And maybe they might have an ongoing relationship with that person, but then they'll also say, like in a little bit of a link, if you want, videos, I guess, then send me a message, private videos, and then they'll say, hey, I'll send you a link over here and you can send me payment over here. And then it'll unlock so they can set up things off platform, I would assume, for you to be able to pay them in that way, right? But $150 is their phone bill. That's their light bill. That might be food for the week, right? Or that might be a little bit to, have a little night out with the girls. So even we talk about the $150 or the $200 in relation to, or with the relative view of, you're selling your body for $200 for $150. It's not worth it. But to them, it's like, well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I still have to pay these bills. And I haven't gotten a second job. I don't want to work at Starbucks. I think I was listening to one woman talk about how she had 3 jobs and she still was struggling. She wasn't taking her clothes off, but she was still struggling. I heard Taylor, it's Tay Tay Baby, check her out. She does a lot of men's rights stuff as well, so she's pretty cool. You probably know her if you've been in the space for a while. But she talked about on the whatever podcast, hey, I've never taken my clothes off. I've never sold my body, and I've had some tough times, right? I've had some really tough times. So if you need some ways to make money, let me know, and I can shoot you over some opportunities without doing this. But modern women, some of them actually don't really know. They just do whatever they see on TV. But then some of these ladies do know. They know, but they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like she's talking about right now. I should have control over my body. Yeah, you should. Well, I should feel empowered. Yeah, you should. You might have a woman working at Hooters or something like that say, man, I would never do this. But then, once that money starts rolling in, they be like, oh, shoot. And then maybe a man approaches him with an opportunity, and they might say, "Oh man, how disgusting," and they'll go back and tell their girls it's disgusting, but then they might walk out of there, or they might, whenever they go to his table, get his number, right? In some really subtle way. They get his attention and he'll leave his number and she'll text him. So you got to remember, a lot of these modern women, well, women in general, are crafty. They can be very deceptive, very deceitful. One of the higher rates of crime for a lot of these women in general, is fraud, embezzlement, that theft. That all has to do with sneaking around. That all has to do with conning somebody. That all has to do with manipulating the environment, or manipulate the environment being your mind, manipulating somebody's mind or their thought, moving them out the way, and then going and getting the thing and being out. Right? A lot of women get online talking about, well, the next time I go to a man's house, he better be careful because I'm gonna rob him. It's subtle. They do things in a subtle way. So she'll figure out a way to get a message to him, because I guarantee you, if that man says that to her, he's coming in multiple times. So she'll figure out a way to have a relationship with him. And then on the side, she'll start doing some stuff for him. And the girls probably won't find out until maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. Or they'll actually probably suspect something's going on, but they won't actually have proof until maybe like 3 or 4 weeks later. And then hard evidence some months later, like 6 or 7 months down the road. At some point in time, they might randomly see her, or they might randomly stumble on something or run across something. So these modern women, for them, that $150 will definitely, you can't even say, well, I'm a single mom, I'm struggling. No, you can't even say that. They'll do it, and they won't even be single mothers, to be honest.
More money on the dole, on benefits, working a minimum wage job.
OnlyFans specifically is so sick because it's very deceiving. Oh, like, this is so empowering for women and they're making money. Actually, the average OnlyFans creator, do you know how much money they make a month? It's like $180. Wow. It's like nothing. So you're selling your body, you're ruining your life for $180 a month for men to pay $5 a month to see.
We've been sold this idea that selling yourself is no longer degrading and demeaning, but glamorous and luxurious.
You're a feminist doing OnlyFans, that's empowering, yet you're relying on creepy, disgusting men who think you are disgusting and trash to ironically pay your bills, which is probably the most degrading thing in the entire world.
Well, again, we like to say that they're creepy men, but some of these brothers come in and they are high value dudes. And I say high value, meaning they got a lot of money. And what do I need right now? What am I strapped for? You guessed it. I'm strapped for cash. I need that cash. I need that money. I need it quickly. And that's what a lot of these modern women are going to go for. They're going to say, oh man, I didn't know I would be, and be picking up that phone. Hey, or texting. Hey, what would you want? Oh man, and the man's going, he got money, so he's going to go ahead and ask for it. Oh, well, I don't know if I would feel comfortable asking for that. Okay. And he already know the game. So just give me something, easy. Let's start with feed pics. Okay, yeah, I can do that. And then you do that for a little while, but the man's got enough money to play the long game, right? So you continue to allow him to do that. And then all of a sudden, well, show me a little something, in your undergarments. Oh, I don't want to show my face. So they don't show their face, but they do something in their undergarments. And it might start off as like a shirt and some boy shorts, but then it might be a shirt and some a little less, and then some a little less and down bottom, and then some like a tank top, and then the tank top becomes a little sort of halter top, and the halter top becomes a little bit of a sports undergarment, and then the sports undergarment becomes something a little bit more risque, more in the way of lingerie, right? And the whole set becomes that. And then all of a sudden, well, I guess it's okay to show my face because I'm only sending it to you. And like, it's a slow whittling down until, okay, if I give you this, you're going to have to pay me a lot of money. What's a lot of money? you know? And then all of a sudden, I'm going to have $1,000. Well, he's rich. He's loaded. $1,000 is not a problem for him.
We've got OnlyFans creators flaunting their lavish lifestyles on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, people like Sophie Rain, who allegedly earned $95 million in 2 years from OnlyFans alone.
What? Sophie. I just need to know, like, how much are you making a month?
I don't know if I don't really want to hurt your feelings. I just don't.
Hurt my feelings? What do you mean?
I don't want to say.
You don't have to say, just show me.
Yeah.
Okay. $4 million? $4 million in a month?
Sophie, for the record, also claims that she is a virgin and does not do explicit content.
I want people to, because I'm a virgin.
Whatever you say, babe. The allure of posting bikini videos and dancing around in your PJs on OnlyFans with a bunch of fellow creators and earning $95 million for your efforts is very, very appealing. Camila Araujo, is that how you pronounce that? Earns around $2 million per month from her OnlyFans account.
How much are you making monthly on OF?
At one point it was like 2.5, dips down to 2, back up to 2.1, 1.9 million.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which she promotes through her TikTok and Instagram, driving flashy cars, flying private jets. Porn work, which is technically what this is at the end of the day, is no longer seen as like humiliating or desperate. Now it's luxurious. It's aspirational. Then there's the influencer to corn worker pipeline, popularized by the likes of Tana Mungo, who apparently earns millions per month for posting content that she can't post to YouTube or TikTok. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I assume you don't talk about the money.
I have a lot.
Oh, how much do you make a month?
I told you I kind of have been putting it on the back burner as of late, but I'm about to
What's a good
re-sled
month?
it out again. A
If
good
I'm-
month would be
yeah.
$1 million. Holy shit. And I'm in the wrong line of business.
To Gabby Epstein with her 3.7 million followers, who started out posting really cute bikini pictures with her great big smile and happy-go-lucky attitude, who then moved from Australia to LA and now sells naughty content on OnlyFans. I'm actually considering making a full video on the influencer to OnlyFans pipeline. Would you guys watch it if I made it?
Would that be something you'd be interested in?
If you are selling your body to satisfy someone else's desire, you are the product.
I'm really focused on OnlyFans because it's my creative direction and what I want to do. And I now am the boss. I am the boss.
That woman is not a boss. She's actually a slave to our society, which tells women that the greatest thing they could do with their life is take their clothes off. OnlyFans, where women sell their bodies and sell as their career, is not empowering. It is dehumanizing, objectifying, and leads to massive mental health disasters.
The majority of these women end up joining up, selling their dignity and self-respect for pittance in return. And once you've given up your self-respect and dignity, it's very, very hard to get it back.
Here's why starting an OnlyFans was the worst decision I made in my life. I did not realize that I was literally selling parts of my soul and the money could have never made it worth it. It brought me into way darker places than I ever could have imagined, and I never want to go back there. I wish I could go back in time to who I was before I started doing all that stuff and just tell myself that the money is not worth it. Keep your happiness. I just hope I can save even just one girl from going through the pain and the trauma that I am now going through because I subjected myself to that.
Back in the day, one surefire way to avoid the trap of corn work or exploitation was to ensure that you and your daughters got a really good education. Go to school, go to college, go to university, get a degree, get a job. Encourage the girlies to use their brains to make money instead of their body parts. But now we have highly educated females quitting their jobs, quitting their courses in order to stop using their brains and sell their bodies instead.
What, so you was at uni getting a law degree and then did you get onto OnlyFans and you was that successful and you were like, I'm gonna leave to pursue this?
Yeah, because I was doing both for like probably like 8 months or so, and it was just like earnings were going up and up and up, and then I think like I reached like $30K a month, like dollars.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I at uni?
Yeah.
I was like, I actually like, there's no point going back. What's the point of having like a whole degree and then like a whole job?
Joining a platform like OnlyFans is now seen as a smart choice over getting an education or a well-paid job. It's seen as the new path to financial freedom. Sign up for a year, make millions, then invest in property or business, and get off the platform. It's sharp. It's a career path in itself.
But that's not what they're doing, though. They're getting on there and staying on there. Like, even if you, like, say, for instance, Sophie Rain, let's say she made 40 million. If they're probably going to take, they're going to take half of that. Okay. And I think what's its name takes, I thought I read somewhere that OnlyFans takes like 20% or something like that. So if the government, depending on where you are, is going to already take half of what you got, plus you're going to have to do 15% as a small business owner. I mean, I shudder to think about what she's going to come out with at the end, but you made 40 in a year and you're left with about 6 million. I hope I'm calculating that wrong, but if they're taking away half of what you got, I mean, I'm sure I can find like a calculator online that does that type of stuff, but just like a quick calculation, even at that, after taxes and everything, you're sitting at $6 million. After taxes, after everybody has taken their cut. Now, if you want to say, okay, well, the government might take 30, I don't have to pay self-employment taxes, 50. So 30 and 50, because OnlyFans is still going to get their fee. You're sitting at what, 20 mil after taxes? 20 mil after taxes, that's crazy. You should honestly stop, but they won't. I mean, 20 mil, for the next 20 years with no investments, you can live off of $1 million per year. I think that's fantastic. And by the way, I don't have to pay no mortgage. I can just go ahead and get a nice house because I've got 20 mil. But they don't think that way. You know, I can get a nice house. I'm talking about a mansion. I mean, it's just you, so you don't really need all that house. But regardless, you can get a nice house. You can get the best type of food that you want, the dream car, 2 or 3 of them that you want. You can pamper yourself every day if you want to. You can go on vacation constantly. It's done. Like, unless something happens, it's done. You're finished. But they keep going. As you can see, Sophie Rain is still going. I have no idea why. Technically, what you could do, and what a lot of these modern women could do, is they can get into it for about a year. Sophie Rain. Not everybody's going to do it, but you can get into it for a year. You hit it. And now you say, okay, I've been in it for a year. I take my 40. They take whatever their cut is. Let's say 50% of what I earned, and I have 20 million. I pay somebody to scrub the internet of all of my clips where I didn't even know anything ever happened. Nobody ever did. I mean, you got a few here and there, and I pay them to squash all of that keeps popping up. But my footprint online is just that. And you just have people saying, what happened to this? What happened to that? And within the next couple of years, you might have a man that's interested in you, but he never knows all of this stuff that you've been up to. He don't know all of this stuff that you've been doing. But modern women keep on continuing to do the same thing over and over again. They get worse and worse and worse. I guess that's just human nature.
I've dropped out of my PhD. Although my OnlyFans has been a side project while I pursued my PhD, I've been able to make over $1 million. I bought myself a car, and thankfully I avoided taking out any student loans. Now I have an investment portfolio, and I'm planning on buying my own house soon.
These are hyper-intelligent women, well-educated women, already very well-paid women, giving up their legitimate careers in order to join the masses partaking in corn work. Why the fuck would they want to do that? Well, because in some ways, it makes a lot of sense. After all, you don't end up with a huge student loan debt if you're an OnlyFans creator. You don't have to spend years of your life studying to then go and work a 9-to-5 that you may or may not like, when you can instead post a few images and videos of you sucking lollipops or showing off your nude feet online and make a fortune.
So you are a licensed attorney. However, you don't practice because you do OnlyFans.
Yeah, so I quit my job at my firm last April, I want to say, so I could focus on my OnlyFans career, and I'm very happy with that decision.
What's the kind of money, comparatively speaking, that you're making compared to being an attorney?
So attorneys like 6 figures a year, OnlyFans is 6 figures a month, so quite a difference.
You make 6 figures a month?
Yes.
Your self-described 304.
Who is that? I feel like I've seen her around. Who is that? Where do these women be popping up from? How do you find these women? That's my question. Like, And like she was saying, smart women. These women ain't dumb. PhD. I'm an attorney. Yeah, man. Once again, I feel like if you're making 6 figures a month, let's say at minimum, in a year, say you at 100K in a year, that's 1.2 mil, man. That's 1.2 million. Let's say once again, well, they gonna take that. Uncle Sam gonna take that from you. And especially depending on where you stay. I hear in Cali and New York, their tax rate is horrendous. I know when I used to go to Canada, I didn't see I think I did maybe see a pay stub or two, but the taxes in Canada are horrendous. Now they got, what they call universal healthcare or free healthcare. I've heard some horror stories about that and what they've had to do to wait, but I've heard some people that have taken advantage of it and been able to get the surgery that here in America probably be a little bit harder. But even with you taking half that, right? He's sitting at he's sitting at 600K after taxes. Is that not a good life? I mean, how many years? Obviously, well, I mean, yeah, that's 6 years right there. A lot of people live off 100K. A lot of people live off less than that. You're already set. You could probably work let's say you work 5 years. Okay? You're sitting at 3 million in 5 years. What can you do within that time? Working and doing that. Y'all don't have to keep on doing it forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm just using that as a baseline. She might make more, but they keep doing it. They keep going.
A lawyer. And you also said I was just too to be a lawyer.
True.
In your bio.
A huge natural G cup, so what am I supposed to do? Much more profitable.
It's not that women who choose to partake in corn work or work are any less intelligent, beautiful, or valuable. The fact of the matter is, our society is setting up women to fail. Instead of encouraging females to use their brains and intelligence and determination to find success and financial freedom in life, we're making it as hard as possible. Have kids. 2.5. Keep your house clean. Submit to your husband. Find a husband to begin with. Make sure you work that 9 to 5. Do all the things. Do them well. Don't let yourself go. It's too bloody much. Is it any wonder that most women feel burnt out and stressed to the max? And then you have society offering them an olive branch. Here you go. Here's OnlyFans. Here you go. Here's a rich older man. You don't need to work or trouble yourself with thinking. You have a bum and a foof and feet. Use them instead and you can live a life of ease and luxury. Or at least, that's what they want you to think. The reality, however, is quite different. Online is one thing, but some girls are taking it a step further and selling themselves in person as well. It's a slippery slope. Now, I'm not talking about some seedy room down a back alley lit by a red light. I'm talking about the high-end, highly paid influencers and models who travel to places like Dubai to engage, shall we say, with very, very rich men.
Yachting is used to describe the practice of being paid to spend time and be pictured with wealthy clients, often aboard mega yachts. It is considered a popular formula for it girls and rising stars to raise their profile, but it has a murky underbelly of exploitation, coercion, and trafficking. I can definitely say I've probably seen this in my life.
Girl, do you want me to tell you them Dubai stories? What? So I had like a friend. She would always go to Dubai. I said, let me come to Dubai with you. She was like, I gotta be honest with you. She was like, I get on and pissed on for like 20, 30K by different men. And different men do it like at one time.
No.
And then she would say it would be like a row of them and it would be all of them doing it. It was like, she explained it to me and that's why she would be on private jets.
Or the girls who find themselves a very rich, much older man who offers to pay them for their time, company, and body.
Hi.
And once again, like we said before, and we continue to say, they might say, oh, I ain't giving it up. This, and this. Once you reach a certain level, once you get around certain men, you're going to be giving it up. I know you probably think that you're the exception rather than the rule. There's very few exceptions. But once you reach a certain level and a man is paying a certain amount of money, you're going to be giving it up. Period. End of story. I mean, a lot of these modern women think that they have men fooled. You don't. You don't. I mean, even if you did, let's say you did. Let's say you had men bamboozled, just didn't even see it. Y'all can't keep your mouths shut long enough. Y'all can't keep a secret. You have to, because of female empowerment, women empowerment, like she's been talking about, you have to let everybody know what you're doing. Your pride, your ego is too big to be quiet, to keep things under wraps. You got to let them know, hey, these women in Dubai, this is what they're doing. Yeah, I do this, I do that. Yeah, I do it. But so what? So what? So what is, you can get a disease from that. That's unsanitary. Now, you're going to want a man to come in and love you and to treat you like a princess. All the while these men taking a dump on you. Oh, I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be this and that. Maybe by your mama and your daddy and your sisters and your brothers and your family. But, you know, the way that y'all be acting out here, no. Y'all be wilding too much. That's too much, man. Come on.
What do you do and how much do you make? I'm a sugar baby at the moment, and I'm not going to disclose how much I make, but it's good. Do you get like a weekly retainer, or what's the goal? Well, yeah, it kind of was like an allowance, but now he kind of just drops off cash or stuff whenever I need it, which is really good. I broke up with my ex, and I was working in hospitality, and I didn't want to go back to work under someone else, and I wanted to work for myself. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully killing it even more, not having to work, because this is technically work, but it's not. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully just doing this, killing it even more.
My name's Ava. I'm a college student, and I guess you could say I'm a sugar baby as my job.
If girls and your friends are sleeping with guys, can you make more money that way?
I think so. I think it would be so easy. There's all different kinds of ways of being a sugar baby. Like, it can be work if you make it work.
Either way, it's the same conclusion. We're living in a society where females are being relegated to nothing more than our physicality. How can we better serve males? It's starting at the top and trickling down like a seedy waterfall of degradation. We have little girls playing with dolls that look like escorts themselves, with names like Crystalicious Yasmin, and these dolls were created by, you guessed it, men! Are you seeing a pattern here? Because I am. We are being set up to fail, and we're allowing it. Now, I know I'm gonna have the inevitable comments down below like, Stephanie, you're not a girl's girl, stop hating on other women, blah, 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 blah. Save it. I don't judge the girls. I judge where we're heading as a collective, as a society.
But even with her saying stuff like, well, a man did this and we're set up to fail, I think is avoiding accountability. Because a man didn't make you buy that. He put it out there because there was a market for it. You can't sell a product if there's not a market for it. You can't. Nobody's going to buy it unless you're really good at marketing. Nobody's buying this stuff. You have to either, basically like they sell, well, I ain't going to say that. Basically, you got to be a really good salesperson. Saleswoman, salesman, you got to be really good at it. Or the marketing has to be on point, which is kind of the same thing you're trying to sell, right? We just keep on showing somebody something and they just say, oh yeah, I really like that. Or that's something that you actually wanted in the first place. And when somebody presents it to you, like, oh shoot, man, you know, and what they do is, for a lot of women, security is a thing. Safety is a thing. So I might not want to go to one of these clubs because I don't know what these men are going to do. They might put their hands on me, so I'm afraid. And then people are going to see me, right? Well, you might be saying, well, people are going to see you online if you put this stuff online. Yeah, but it's different. I don't have to see them, right? So I can keep a little bit of my dignity. I can keep a little bit of my shame. I think there was one woman in here talking about she wanted to do something, like she thought she was going to be able to do something online and it wouldn't go anywhere. But then her family found out. They're thinking because the internet is so vast and it's so big that they're going to be able to hide. They're going to be able to, people are not going to see this. People are not going to find out about this. But they will. At some point in time, they will. If you spread around and you go viral, that's pretty much how the internet works. Somebody somewhere is going to know you, and then you're going to be like, dang, I didn't know that would happen. It's a small world, isn't it? Somebody knew somebody else who was in a different, you might even have people, you might be posting somewhere in another country, but for some reason they know somebody back at home in the US. And they're like, man, have you seen so-and-so and such and such? Or they might say, man, this girl did da-da-da-da. And then they pull out the phone and show the man that they're talking to, or the woman that they're talking about. Is like, wait a minute, I know that person. Is that XYZ? Yeah. What, you know her? Yeah, man, we went to school together. Man, what is she doing? And now the secret is out. And now when you come back home to your hometown, people in your hometown know what you was doing. So one of the things that they get fooled by is that feeling like I'm going to get on the internet and it's going to be anonymous, right? Because ain't nobody going to know. And then I'm safe in my own home or wherever I am, because I can shoot without men coming in and putting their hands on me, and I can make money that way. It's easy. I don't want to say it's faceless, but it almost is. It's almost faceless, because some of these women, technically you could cover your face and just show your body if you wanted to. You could do that. I'm not trying to give you guys any idea, these women any ideas, but I don't even think I need to give them ideas. They would do it anyway. But this is how they're moving out here. This is how they're moving. And then they're wondering why men don't respect them. But like I said, yeah, there's a market for it. There's women out here wanting to do this type of work. And you might have the woman that's pulled in to it by another friend that's saying, hey girl, I'm gonna do this. It's not so bad. Don't worry about it. Come with me. Yeah, you might have that. But once again, there are still people, women out here that are wanting to do this, that are going into it. They see the flashy lifestyle. I can make a quick buck. And like I said, even 150. And then later on in the video, it came to around 180 bucks. That's darn near 200. If I work a little bit harder, maybe I can make 500. That's a third of my rent. For some of these ladies, if I pay $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom flat, that's a third of my rent. And I don't really have to do anything but post a couple of photos. And that's, why don't you get a second job? Because the second job is going to have me up there for hours. I might do something for 30 minutes, and that's my second job. Or I might post more risque photos and maybe get more. Modern women work off of the premise or the idea that it just takes one. That's why I don't got to have every man. I can keep my standards high, because there's going to be one man that's going to want me. There's going to be one man that says, I'll take a chance on her. I don't care about anything else that she's got going on. I don't care about her past. One rich man. That's all I need. Just one. They think that. They really think that. They really think that. And, we know to the contrary, but that's how these modern women think. So, yeah, it's a terrible situation, but that's the state of modern women in society right now.